In this video, we're going to talk about how to hunt on Desert Village for Mineplex Block Hunt. Specifically, what I'm going to try and focus on as most as possible is the different types of hiding spots you could find a hider hiding at. Now, when you start out by hunting on Desert Village, of course you start out a hunter spawn, which looks like this. And the place that you want to head towards first is that pyramid right there, and that pyramid right there is hider spawn. Now, pretty much, you want to head towards this pyramid first. And inside here is where the hiders spawn. So this is hider spawn inside this pyramid. So pretty much you just want to get rid of any AFK hiders that are in here and just get rid of anything. Notice how we have these stands right here. You might find flower pots or just any block on these stands. So you can get rid of anything on these things as well. So pretty much anyone inside this pyramid. So the hiding spots that we're going to focus on first are pretty much all the different hiding spots you can see surrounding the pyramid. Starting with these melons right here. So pretty much we have two melon patches, right? We have these melons and these melons, pretty much. For these melons, there's a total of 4 melons. For those melons, there's a total of 5 melons. So pretty much 4 melons, 5 melons. So pretty much if you just don't know those numbers, you pretty much can be able to pick out any fake melon, because all you gotta know is that there's 4 here and 5 over here. And that makes it pretty easy. Next we have this bookshelf stack, which lies right next to the pyramid. And pretty much for the bookshelves, pretty much all you gotta know is that it goes 2, 2, 1. And that's pretty much it. If you just know it goes 2, 2, 1, that's all you have to know for the bookshelves. Just gotta know it goes 2, 2, 1. So if you ever see 3 bookshelves in a row in this stack, for example, right here, it would be a fake bookshelf. Or if you see 3 in a row bookshelves right here, it would also be a fake bookshelf. Another spot you might see a bookshelf hiding in is if you have this sort of, notice how there's a sort of 2, 2, 2 pattern with the bookshelves. In this case, this would also be a fake bookshelf if you see this. And this is more rare, but if you have like a bookshelf on like way too high up like this would also be fake. And that's pretty much it for the bookshelves. Pretty important to know about. So next what we're going to do is we're going to look at the different hiding spots you could find on the pyramid itself. And notice how when we go up the pyramid on this side, we have the cauldrons right here. Pretty much all you have to know for the cauldrons is that it goes 2, 2. So pretty much 2, 2. So 2 on the top layer, 2 on the bottom layer. Just gotta know it goes 2, 2 with the cauldrons. They look just like this. So if you ever see 3 cauldrons in a row like this, it would be a fake cauldron. Or sometimes you might have a cauldron like right here, it would also be fake. Or a cauldron right here would also be fake. And that's pretty much it for the cauldrons. Now at the very top of this pyramid, we have sort of like a white table right here. And on the white table, we have a cake and a flower pot. So you just gotta know there's a cake and a flower pot on it like that. What you might see is a cake another cake. Like if you see 2 cakes on the top, then one of those cakes has to be fake. Like a cake right here would be fake. Or a cake right here would be fake. Or a cake right here would be fake. Alright, there should only be 1 cake on the top of it. That's all you should see. In addition, you might see an extra flower pot, like a flower pot right here, a flower pot right here, or even a flower pot at one of the diagonals. Right, and that's pretty much it. So you just gotta know what the top of this table looks like, which is the cake and a flower pot. That's all there is here. Another thing to notice is that there's an anvil at the very top of this pyramid. So there should only be 1 anvil at the very top of this pyramid. And sometimes what you'll see is an anvil at another one of the corners of the table. Like, for example, if you see an anvil right here, it'd be fake. Or it's at either one of these corners. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You just gotta know that there's 1 anvil right here. Another thing at the top of this pyramid is we have a flower pot and a cake. A flower pot and a cake. And pretty much, you just gotta know that these are real. This is a real cake, that's a real flower pot. You don't have to worry about hitting those. What you might see along the top of this pyramid, you just might find a flower pot in any one of these places, just anywhere on this pyramid. You might just find a flower pot anywhere on this pyramid. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So now we've gone over what's actually on the pyramid itself. Now we're going to go over everything that surrounds the pyramid. And we're going to do it going in this general direction, right? This direction around the pyramid. So we've gone over these melons and this bookshelf pile. So we're going to head in this direction, right? And we're going to go over this anvil stack. And for this anvil stack, it's pretty easy to know what it looks like, because if you notice, if there was an anvil right here, then you can see that the stack would actually be symmetrical. So if you see an anvil in this spot right here, it would be a fake anvil. Another common spot to find an anvil in the stack is if you have an anvil right here. So notice how there's 3 anvils in a row here, 3 anvils in a row here. This would be a fake anvil if you see something like this. The only other thing to know about this stack really is that these anvils, they go 2 blocks high up, higher than the previous anvil, so 2 high up. So for example, if it's like an anvil here, or an anvil here, or an anvil here, then it'd be a fake anvil. That's pretty much it for the anvil stack. Notice how we have a total of 2 cakes here, right? There should only see 2 cakes here, not any more than that. Sometimes you'll see 3. Notice how we have these random flower pots lying on the ground. For the most part, you really don't have to worry about them. Very rarely are you just going to see random flower pots like just lying on the ground in random places. Like for example, if a Hydra were hiding as a flower pot like right here, let's say. It's very rare to see something like this. I mean, maybe you'll pick up on it the more you play this map, but really, I mean, it's not super important to know about. You don't have to worry about it. Eventually you'll know that this is a real flower pot, you don't have to hit it. This is a real flower pot, you don't have to hit it. And yeah, that's just another thing to keep in mind. So next we're going to go over this hay bale stack. So right here I would say is probably the most common spot to find a hay bale in the stack. So if you see a hay bale right here, it'd be fake. Another thing, this is also, sometimes you'll see a hay bale right here, it would be fake. And the only other thing to know about the stack is that there's 1 hay bale on the top of the stack, right there, right? So sometimes what you'll see is you'll see 2 hay bales on the top of the stack. So if you see like 2 hay bales on the top of the stack, then there's a fake hay bale there. That's pretty much it for the hay bale stack. Right, continuing to move around the pyramid in this direction, notice how we have another flower pot over here that is actually a real flower pot. Notice how we have this tree right here. It's not super common, but sometimes you'll find like a flower pot hiding around this tree. Alright, going over to these cauldrons right here. You'll sometimes find hiders hiding as flower pots inside of these cauldrons. Right, that happens quite often. But really, it's also important to know what these cauldrons look like. You just have 2 cauldrons, not really near each other. And you have these 3 cauldrons sort of in this sort of structure. This is a really important structure to just kind of be familiar with. Sometimes what you'll see is you'll see a square of cauldrons like this. So if you see something like this, this would be a fake cauldron. And that's pretty much it for the cauldron stack. Right, next we have this TNT stack, which also, in fact, it does actually touch the pyramid, as you can see. It's a pretty important stack to know about. One of the common spots in this TNT stack is if you have a TNT hiding right here. So if you see a TNT right here, it's pretty much 2 TNTs in a row. It would be a fake TNT. It's pretty common to see that. Another common spot is if you have a TNT like right here. That's goes, yeah, right here. That'd be fake. Right. You might also have like a TNT right here. Right. That would also be fake. And yeah, I would say it's important to know what this TNT looks like as you're just kind of coming over here. So yeah, I would say if you just start off by knowing this spot right here, because that one I feel like would be the most missed. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the TNT stack. Alright, it's really important to know about the stack. Going over here, we have we have this, I don't even know what to call this. It's like, I don't even know what this sort of stone thing is. I'm pretty sure it's like wool and stone, but I don't even know what this call this. Pretty much, I just know that there's a total of 6 cakes here. Notice how there is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cakes here. And there are 2 common spots to find cakes here. One of them is if you have like a cake right here. And that could easily be something else, like a flower pot could be hiding in this spot. Maybe even a bookshelf, right? You could have like a bookshelf hiding right here. Or just anything, right? It's pretty common to find a hider hiding in that spot right there. Right, and also a cake could be hiding on top of this birch wood plank right here. So if you see a cake right here, it would be fake. And that happens sometimes, and I would definitely know about that. Another thing to know about is flower pots tend to sometimes hide behind this sort of structure right here. They tend to hide behind it sometimes, so I would definitely know about that as well. That's pretty much it for this thing right here. Right, continuing to move around the pyramid, we have this bookshelf stack right here. Now, it's really easy to actually detect a hider behind in this bookshelf stack. Pretty much anywhere that a bookshelf's going to hide, it's always going to be touching another bookshelf. Notice how all the bookshelves are in like a diagonal to each other, right? Not including these 2 bookshelves right here. All the bookshelves are at diagonals to each other, right? But anywhere that a bookshelf hides, it's always going to be directly touching another bookshelf, like right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. It's always going to be touching, like exactly next to another bookshelf. Not diagonal, but like actually touching it. And so that's an important thing to know about this bookshelf stack. And the other thing is that there's exactly one bookshelf on the top of the stack. So for example, if you have like 2 bookshelves on the top of it, one of them has to be fake. And that's pretty much it for the bookshelf stack. Alright, another thing, we also still have these trees right here. Sometimes you'll find flower pots behind those trees. So again, just like a flower pot around this tree, like right here. There's anywhere around this tree, like for example right here, or even on the actual tree itself, right? Sometimes find hiders hiding around this tree, or this tree right here, right? I don't really think about it too much. I only get it if I really see that there's a flower pot here. But yeah, you'll sometimes find hiders hiding around these trees. Right, next we have this hay bale stack right here. Really, the most common spot to find a hay bale in this stack is if it touches the very edge of the map. For example, if there's a hay bale right here, it would be a fake hay bale. And notice how it touches like the very edge of the map, like even right here, it touches the very edge of the map. Anywhere over here as well, just it touches the very edge of the map, and that's how you know it's a fake hay bale. It's usually either going to be like right here or right here. Alright, and that's where you see 2 hay bales in a row. So these 2 spots are really common. You might also see a square of hay bales like this. So if you see a hay bale right here, it would be fake. Or if you have 2 hay bales in a row right here, it would be fake. Right, but the most common thing that you'll see is a hay bale that's like actually like touching the edge of the map, anywhere in one of these 2 spots. That's pretty much it for the hay bale stack. Right, so now we have made it back to the melon farms over here. And that pretty much concludes the different types of hiding spots you could see for hiders hiding around the pyramid or hider spawn. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go over hiding spots towards this corner of the map, right? Towards that house right there. Pretty much towards this corner of the map, we're going to go over the hiding spots over here, right? Right. Starting with this extremely small hay bale stack, right? You're like, hiders don't even hide here. Why would hiders even hide here? That'd just be ridiculous. Well, they do hide here, right? Like, hiders, when they morph into a hay bale, they don't even spawn on, this is like a hay bale on its side, right? They always spawn, when they morph into a hay bale, they always are like standing up like this. They are never on their side. That's another thing to keep in mind, but pretty much, if you ever see 3 hay bales in a row right here like this, 3 hay bales in a row like this, it would be a fake hay bale. Or a hay bale on top of the stack, it would be a fake hay bale. Or to the side of the stack, it would be a fake hay bale, right? Pretty easy, right? All you really gotta know is that there's 2 hay bales here, and it's pretty easy to know if this is a fake one. Alright, so next what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over this house right here. Alright, starting with these chickens. Alright, there should be chickens here. In the beginning of the game, the chickens spawn in this pen right here, but as the game goes on, they tend to roam around a lot, right? Here's one of them. Now, in the beginning of the game, you could count the chickens if you wanted. There should be a total of 5 chickens that spawn in this area, but of course they tend to roam around a lot. Like sometimes they'll roam inside this house, they'll roam around the house towards the edge of the map. They'll even roam all the way to the pyramid over there. As you can see, there's one right there. But there should be a total of 5, so pretty much as you're passing by the chickens, just hit them just in case one of them's fake. So just like that, and we move on, right? But anyways, let's go over the rest of this house, right? Let's go over the top of the house, right? I would definitely know about everything on the top of the house. So starting with the cakes, notice how the cakes form the letter Y. See how the cakes form the letter Y? That's an important thing to know about. So it's really important to know that the cakes form the letter Y. And that's the easiest way to know what the cakes look like. They form the letter Y. So for example, if you see like a square of cakes right here, it would be a fake cake. Or if you see like a cake right here, this would be fake. Or if you see a cake right here, it would be fake. And that's pretty much it for the cakes, right? All you gotta know is that they form the letter Y. As for the flower pots, there's a total of 2 flower pots right there. And that's pretty much it. So for example, if you see 3 flower pots like right here, it would be fake. And you could also see like 3 flower pots here, or here, or here. All you gotta know is that there's 2 flower pots here. Sometimes you'll see a flower pot on the edge, like right here. So that would also be fake. All you gotta know is that there's 2 flower pots. That's pretty much it. Next we have these cauldrons. Of course you could find flower pots hiding inside of the cauldrons. Pretty much there's a total of 4 cauldrons. So what you might see is like a cauldron right here. If you see that, that would be fake. Or like a cauldron on the end right here, that would also be fake. And that's pretty much it for the cauldrons. Sometimes, this isn't, I mean, you sometimes see this, like a flower pot on top of the very top of this house, like right here. And yeah, you might find this as well. As for the outside of the house, there should only be one flower pot on the edge of the house, which is right here. Sometimes what you'll find is a flower pot here, flower pot here, a flower pot here. I've even seen like a pumpkin go right here. Yeah, there are pumpkins in the map. I don't think we really mentioned them yet, but you'll sometimes just find random blocks just on the edges of this house. Usually it's flower pots, but sometimes you'll just find blocks like that. And it's true for many of the houses in Desert Village. You'll just find blocks on the edge of houses sometimes. Alright, next we'll go over the inside of this house, which actually does sometimes have hiders in it. I would say the most common spot to find a hider, in fact, is an anvil hiding right here. So if you see an anvil right here, it's fake. It's pretty common to see that. Alright, next we have this table right here. If you see a complete table of flower pots, so 3 flower pots, this would be a fake flower pot. I've sometimes even seen a cake on top of this table right here. So if you see a cake right there, it'd be fake. Sometimes you'll have like a bookshelf hiding right there, but they don't even become solid. Sometimes it happens, so I would know that as well. That's pretty much it for this house right here. So we've gone over this house right here. We're gonna head over to this bookshelf stack right here. As for this bookshelf stack, there's only 2 bookshelves. Pretty easy. So if you ever see, pretty much what you tend to see if there's a hider here, is 2 bookshelves in a row here, or 2 bookshelves in a row here. So if you see that, it would be a fake bookshelf. That's all you gotta know. Just gotta know there's a total of 2 bookshelves here. Let's go over to this furnace and TNT stack. So it's like a TNT stack connected to a furnace stack. I would say the most common spot in the stack is to have a TNT hiding right here. So if you see 5 TNTs, right, like for example, like a TNT right here, this would be a fake TNT. I would say it's a really, really common spot, and I would definitely know about it. Right? You might have 5 TNTs forming like the letter W like this. If you see this, this would be fake. And yeah. For the furnaces, sometimes you'll have a furnace right here, or a furnace right here. Right, and that's pretty much it. Right, I would definitely know what the stack looks like. It's really important. Going over to this hay bale stack, it's also a really important spot, a really important stack to know about. Most common spot in this stack, I would say, is a hay bale right here. So if you see a hay bale right here, it would be fake. Also, if you see like a hay bale right here, notice how it like cubes off the stack. And so this would be a fake hay bale if you see it. Sometimes you'll see like 2 hay bales in a row right here. That's pretty much it for the hay bale stack. Alright, so now we are ready to go over this house right here, which is pretty big compared to that house that we went over. So we're going to be going over this house right here. Starting with the back edge of the house, like just this back area of the house right here. We have this sheep pen. There should be a total of 3 sheep that spawn here. If you ever see like 4 sheep within this area, then one of them has to be fake, because there should only be 3 sheep here. Sometimes, like if there's just sheep hiding here, I might just hit them and just look for other hiders, right? So yeah, it's important to know that there's a total of 3 sheep within this area. Okay, going over to this hay bale stack, it's also ridiculously small, just like that hay bale stack that we went over right there. It's also ridiculously small, right? And also, it's kind of like, like that bookshelf pile is also ridiculously small. Many of the block piles in Desert Village on the right side of the map, like pretty much to the right of Hunter Spawn, the side of the map that we're on now, has some really small block piles. It's a really interesting thing. And so I would definitely just kind of notice that. So as for these 3 hay bales, yeah, it's 3 hay bales. That's all you really gotta know. But for example, if there's a fake hay bale here, it would be like a square of hay bales, or if you see like something like this, or like this, or a hay bale on top of the stack, it would be a fake hay bale, right? That's pretty much it for the hay bales. Next, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going in the house itself. So, we have these hay bales right here. Most of the time you don't find hay bales hiding here. But if you do, I would pretty much just know that pretty much on the left side 6 hay bales, on the right side 4 hay bales. So what I tend to know, since I'm more into like numbers, it's pretty much 6, 4. Right? 6 hay bales, 4 hay bales. That's the way I think about it. And I just kind of know what it looks like since I've gone past it so many times. But, I mean, for example, if you see like a hay bale right here, I would definitely know that this would be a fake hay bale if you see something like this. So if you see something like that, that would be fake. And you can also kind of look at this as like a staircase. So, for example, if you see this, it kind of disrupts the staircase. Or if you see like a hay bale right here, it kind of disrupts the staircase. So that's pretty much it for the hay bales right there. As for this cauldron in TNT, yeah, you'll sometimes see hiders actually hiding in the stack. For example, like a TNT right next to it. Or, of course, a cauldron right next to it. So if you ever see 3 blocks in a row right here, one of them has to be fake. And that's pretty much it for that. It's important to know about that. Next, we go over to this sort of rectangular area right here. See how this rectangular area? And we're going to go over this. Pretty much the way that I know the outline of it, so pretty much looking at the outline of it, we have some cakes and some flower pots. And what I like to do is I like to group it up into pairs. 2 cakes, 2 cakes, 2 flower pots, and then 1 extra cake. Pretty much we have 3 pairs and 1 extra cake. So a pair of cakes, a pair of cakes, a pair of flower pots, 1 extra cake. That's the way I know what the outline of it looks like. So for example, if I see like a cake right here, this would be fake. Sometimes you'll see like a flower pot here, like maybe a flower pot on the edge over here, or maybe right here. That would be fake. Right, another thing is notice how in the inside of this, where we got these furnaces and anvils and stuff, we have 2 spots. 2 spots, 1 here and 1 here. So there should be 2 open spots right here. Sometimes you'll have like a cauldron hiding in one of those 2 spots. Sometimes it's a furnace, sometimes it's an anvil. It could be anything hiding in either one of these 2 spots right there. Right, and that's pretty much it. Going over to this bookshelf stack, a pretty common spot you'll sometimes see is actually a bookshelf hiding right here. And yeah, that's a pretty common spot and I would definitely know about it. Or if you have like a bookshelf on the end right here. But I would say that this spot right here is definitely way more common to see. That's pretty much it. As for this stuff over here, it's not really super important. You might see a second flower pot on top of this, so if you see that, that would be fake. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So now, going to the upstairs of this house, so up these stairs, we have some stuff in this little upstairs room right here. Starting with this cake and flower pot. Yeah, what you'll sometimes see is a cake or a flower pot hiding on this part of the place. Pretty much a flower pot hiding right here would be fake. I would know about that. Going to this melon stack right here, sometimes what you'll see is a melon hiding in this spot right here. So if you see a melon right here, it's fake. Right, that's the most important spot to know about in this melon stack. But another spot you might see is a melon hiding right here. Right? Or you might see a melon hiding right here. If you see those 2 spots, it would be fake. That's pretty much it for the melon stack. This bookshelf stack you sometimes find hiders in as well. In fact, I would say it's just as common to find someone in this bookshelf stack as it is this melon stack. Seriously. So as for this bookshelf stack, a pretty common spot is to find a bookshelf hiding right here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Sometimes you'll actually see an enchantment table hiding right here because you can actually be an enchantment table in Desert Village, believe it or not. So yeah, you'll find hiders hiding right in this spot right here. You'll sometimes see it. Is this anvil really that important? You don't even spawn as the same direction, but I feel like I have sometimes seen hiders hide here as anvil, but it's not really super common. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this room. Notice how we have these sort of doors right here. And yeah, they can't even like move around over here. Sometimes you'll find like flower pots just hiding on the edge of the map on these ladders, on this sort of spot right there. On those like slabs, you'll find hiders just sort of over on this side of the house. So sometimes see it. But you'll tend not to really see hiders over here because you have ladders that they can get up to. So they can go up on these ladders. So you'll tend not to find much over here. Going outside to this part of the house, it's actually not really that common to find hiders in this hay bale stack, TNT, anvils. It's like you don't even have to worry about this stuff at all. You'll tend never really to find hiders in either one of these stacks. It just doesn't happen. I've seen it, but like you don't really have to know it. It's not that important. Alright, going further up on this house, this is like the 3rd story, right? This is the 3rd story of this house because the 2nd story was there and the 1st story was down on the ground. So now we're up here, we have these cauldrons. You'll sometimes find flower pots inside these cauldrons. Sometimes you'll find a cauldron right here, like 3 in a row. Sometimes that happens. Alright, going inside this house, probably the most common spot that some of you guys even probably know about is a hider hiding right here in this spot, right here. Right? Sometimes that's even a bookshelf, of course. So something like this, that would be fake. Right? So this is the most common spot in this room, believe it or not. So I definitely know about that. And yeah. But there are some other spots you might see. Believe it or not, these anvils actually sometimes will actually literally have an anvil hiding right here. So if you see something like this, that would be fake. I don't really know if, I honestly do not know if furnaces hide here, to be honest. I know anvils hide here like sometimes, so sometimes I see anvils hiding here, but I'm not exactly sure for the furnaces. Anvils definitely know about this spot though. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Going to the very top of this house right here. I'm pretty sure you get on it by going over here. Let's see if I can do it. And I can, okay. It's not super common to find hiders on here, but yeah, you actually do sometimes see hiders go on here. Like flower pots, sometimes just kind of being up here. It's usually flower pots. You usually don't find anyone in this bookshelf stack or this TNT stack. Usually it's infestors if you do find them in those stacks. But this is not an infestor spot video, so we will not be going over that in this video. Right. But anyways, yeah, flower pots on top of here is the most common thing to see. Notice how we can go on here and hiders can actually get on top of these trees as well. I'm not exactly sure how far they can go, but I know that they can get on top of these trees, so it's pretty important to know about hiders having the ability to get on these trees and pretty much being able to look for them and being able to get rid of any hiders that are on either one of these trees that you are looking at. So it's important to know that as well. Now, the only other thing for this house is we have this flower pot and cake right here, which is like not even important at all. Nobody really, you just gotta know that these are real and not to hit them. Right? That's pretty much it for this house. We've covered pretty much the entirety of it. Again, you'll sometimes find hiders on the edge of the house, for example, like a flower pot on the edge, like right here. Sometimes like a flower pot on the edge right here. And that happens. Right here. Happens, so I would definitely know about that as well. And that's pretty much it for this house. Alright, next what we're going to do is we're going to go over to this TNT stack. Again, it's a really small stack, just like how I've mentioned before. Many of these stacks are really small. Alright, so if you see 3 TNTs in a row right here, that would be fake. Notice how the stack is not supposed to be symmetrical. But it is symmetrical if a TNT is hiding right here. So if you see a TNT hiding right here, then it has to be fake. Another thing is if you have a TNT behind the stack right here, it'd also be fake. Also, notice how there's only one TNT on the top of the stack. So if you see a TNT hiding right here, this would be fake. So if you see something like that, it would be fake TNT. Going over to this bookshelf and flower pot stack, pretty much I just know that there's 4 bookshelves and 2 flower pots. So you just gotta know the numbers. 4 bookshelves, 2 flower pots. That's pretty much it. Yeah, you'll sometimes see hiders hiding here. Another thing I forgot to mention about the edge of the map is you'll sometimes see flower pots on the edge of the map, sometimes furnaces just hiding anywhere along the edge of the map. You'll sometimes see that. It's on this side of the map. Alright, one quick thing to go over before time runs out is this little area right here. You don't really have to worry about the anvils or this flower pot that much. It's, let's see, like a flower pot hiding right here on this slat, like right here behind the slat. You'll sometimes see that. So now we have actually gone over up to here, and we're gonna pretty much go over the rest of this stuff over here up to pretty much that chicken pile. Actually, no, up to that TNT. That is what we're gonna go over, right? So yeah, starting with this hay bale stack right here. As for this hay bale stack, it's not super common to find hiders in here really that much. If you were to see a hider hiding right here, I would say it's like if you have like 4 hay bales in a row like this. So you see something like that. I guess a good thing to pick up on for this hay bale, for these hay bales, is that notice how we have the letter T in it. So notice how we have letter T just like that. So notice how there's letter T right here. Right, the letter T. That's an important thing to notice about the stack. I guess another thing that's important is that there's only one hay bale on the top of the stack, which I've kind of said that for many of the stacks in Desert Village. Like I've said it for many stacks so far, like this TNT stack. I'm pretty sure some stacks over there. But yeah, that's been a common thing in Desert Village to notice as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the hay bale stack. This bookshelf right here is a real bookshelf. You don't have to hit it. Right, and next we have these melon farms. These melon farms is not super common to find a melon in. Right, it's way more common to find a melon in those 2 melon farms that I mentioned in the beginning of the video much more common to find melons in those melon farms than it is those melon farms, or these melon farms, right? But if you do see a melon hiding here as you're just kind of passively passing by here, I would pretty much just know that there's a total of 7 melons here and a total of 5 melons here. So pretty much I would just know 7 melons, 5 melons. And that's pretty much it. Going over to these bookshelves and these hay bales. So starting with these bookshelves, notice how we have the letter Y again, right? The letter Y. We can see that this is the letter Y. We have another instance where that was the letter Y. It was with the cakes, right? Remember at the top of this house right here, we had the letter Y with the cakes. So we see another instance of the letter Y in Desert Village, and so you can kind of draw a pattern between those two things. So we have the letter Y again, right? Also, another thing, this flower pot is real, so we have a flower pot on top of these bookshelves right there. That is a real flower pot. So a spot you might see is if you have, of course, a square of bookshelves like this, or a bookshelf in either this spot or this spot. So I would pretty much just know that. Another thing you might see is 4 bookshelves in a row. So if you see that, then it's just too many bookshelves in a row, and so that's how you know it's fake. Or you might actually have a bookshelf right here. Of course, any of those spots can easily be replaced with a flower pot, like right here. Just anywhere around this tree as well. Sometimes see that. Going over to these hay bales. For these hay bales, it's pretty much just a total of 4 hay bales. And like sometimes you'll find hay bales hiding here. For example, like a hay bale right here. Pretty much, I'm not really too concerned with the hiding spots, and it's not super common to find a hay bale hiding here. I would just know that there's a total of 4 hay bales here. That's pretty much it. As for the chickens that are here, there is a total of 3 chickens in this sort of area where they spawn. So there's 1 here, 2 here, and I think this one. I don't know if that chicken stack has to go to that. But anyways, no. All you gotta know is that there should be a total of 3 chickens in this area. Of course, they roam around a lot as the game goes on. And pretty much as I'm passing by here, sometimes you might want to hit one of them to check if they're fake. That's pretty much it for the chickens. Alright. Finally, we get to this furnace stack right here. You'll sometimes find hiders hiding in this furnace stack, but you'll sometimes see it. I would say the most common spot in this furnace stack, it's not super common to find hiders in this furnace stack, but sometimes it happens. So if you have a furnace hiding right here, so notice that there's 2 furnaces in a row. This would be a fake furnace. Also, again, there's only 1 furnace on the top of the stack. Alright, we've seen this so many times. Only 1 furnace on the top of the stack. Well, if you see another furnace on the top of the stack, like right here, it would be a fake furnace. And that's pretty much it for the furnace stack. And that concludes the hiding spots for this corner of the map. And so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to head back over to this corner of the map right here, which is pretty much, notice how we were going, remember when we were going over these cauldrons, TNT stack, and these 6 cakes right here? Well, we're going to go over this stuff right here, pretty much like this house. And so we're going to start off with these 2 bookshelves piles right here. These bookshelf piles are actually pretty important to know about. Pretty much as for this bookshelf pile, if you see a bookshelf hiding right here, notice how it forms like a fish. So if you see something like this, this would be a fake bookshelf. Also, again, there's only 1 bookshelf on the top of the stack. So if you see a second one, like right here, it would be a fake bookshelf. I guess another spot to be kind of familiar with is if you have like 3 bookshelves in a row right here. So that's another thing, but that's pretty much it for this bookshelf stack. As for this bookshelf stack, it's another really small stack. It's pretty much, you could just kind of know what it looks like. And yeah, pretty much a common spot you might see is like a bookshelf right here, or a bookshelf right here. Right, and that's pretty much it for these 2 bookshelf stacks. Alright, we're just going around the house right now. Right, we're just going to go up to this hay bale stack, and then we're going to go over to this house. So as for this hay bale stack right here, it's pretty similar to that hay bale stack right there, but it's way more common to find a hay bale in that stack than it is this stack. But if you do find a hay bale in the stack, again, if you have 3 hay bales in a row right here, this would be a fake hay bale, so something like this would be fake. Also, if you have like a hay bale right here, and again, only 1 hay bale on the top of the stack. So if you see 2 hay bales, like for example right here, it would be a fake hay bale. So now that we've gone over this hay bale stack, I'm thinking it's about time to go over this house right here. It's pretty common to find hiders around this house. Pretty much on the very top is usually the most common spot to find a hider. But anyways, what we're first going to go over is we're going to go over these, actually no, we won't go over this yet. We're going to go over pretty much the inside of the house up to the top of the house. So starting with pretty much the downstairs part of the house. So, starting with these TNTs right here. Pretty much this is what the TNTs look like. This is a total of 4 TNTs, right? We have a total of 4. And pretty much a common spot you might see is 2 TNTs in a row like this. So if you see a TNT right here, it'd be fake. As for this anvil right here, as an anvil, you won't be spawning in as the same directions, but sometimes you'll see an anvil right here. Also, even a furnace hiding right here, or a cauldron, or an enchantment table. If you see any block hiding in this spot right here, which sometimes it happens, it would be fake. The only other spot I would be familiar with in this room is this table right here. So pretty much if you see like a cake or a flower pot on this table right here, either one of them would be fake. So like that, or like this, that would be fake. And that's pretty much it for the downstairs. It's pretty much just those 3 spots. Sorry, this TNT pile, a block right there, or a block right there. That's pretty much it for the downstairs area. Going to the upstairs, right, just this layer right now, right? Let's not get ahead of ourselves and go up here. Just this area right here. We have a bookshelf and some cauldrons. As for the bookshelf, yeah, it's actually, you'll sometimes see 2 bookshelves in a row right here. So if you see something like that, that would be fake. Also, if you have a bookshelf right here. So notice how it's like right next to the ladder, right? That's just kind of weird. If you see 2 bookshelves in a row, it'd be fake. Also, for these cauldrons, there's only 3 cauldrons, so you'll sometimes see it's like a cauldron right here, it would be fake, or a cauldron right here, it would be fake. And that's pretty much it for the cauldrons. If you go to the inside of this room, yeah, there's nothing in here, but you'll sometimes just find flower pots inside of here. There are infestor spots in this room, but again, I'm not concerned with infestors in this video. Going to the very top of this house, this is where you'll most likely find, this is the most common spot to find hiders out of all the hiding spots for this house. It's the very top right here. Especially this melon stack. Right? Really common to find hiders in this melon stack. So for example, if you have 3 melons in a row right here, it'd be fake. Or, notice how if there's a melon right here, it makes the stack symmetrical. So if you see a melon hiding right here, it would be fake. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the melon stack. Oh, also if you see like, notice how it kind of forms like a pickaxe. You can kind of see it as like a really small pickaxe. Or also, you could also think of it as the letter W. Like, notice how it's the letter W. So if you see a melon right here, it would be fake. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the melon stack. What I pretty much know for the melon stack is that there's a total of 5 melons. Now, as for the furnaces and the flower pots, again, this is a pretty common structure. It's not the common structure, which you guys might be familiar with in my other videos, what the common structure is in Block Hunt. But this is a pretty common structure. It's the same structure for those cauldrons right there. Pretty much this is what the furnaces look like. If you see like a furnace right here, it'd be fake. That's important to know about. Also, there's a total of 2 flower pots here, so if you see like 3 flower pots like this, it would be fake. And that's pretty much it for the furnaces and cauldrons. Also, you might find flower pots on top of this thing right here. And that's pretty much it for the top of this house. Another thing, we have this like cake right here, but that's a real cake. You don't have to worry about it. You might find flower pots on like the edge of this house, but it doesn't happen that often. So next what we're going to do is, we're going to go over this stuff, going over to this house and up to that bookshelf pile, and we're going to see where we can go from there. Alright, as for the bookshelf and these furnaces, I tend to think of this as a total of 4 furnaces, even though there's 5. Kind of weird, that's just my way of thinking. I just kind of know what these things look like, but what you'll sometimes see is actually like a furnace hiding right here, like along the edge of the house at the very end right here. You don't usually see that, no, it's usually right here. As for the bookshelves, sometimes you'll have 2 bookshelves in a row. Again, it's not super common to find hiders in this area right here. Sometimes you'll see it. As for these anvils right here, it's not super common to find hiders in this sort of area right here. I just know that there's a total of 3 anvils, and that's pretty much how I work around it. I just know there's a total of 3 anvils here, and I don't really worry about that much. Alright, going over to this house. We've gone over this stuff, right? We've gone over it. We're going over to this house right now, right? It's one of the smaller houses. I guess we have these cauldrons right here. It's not super common to find a hider in this cauldron stack. Again, like a hider right here, hider right here. It's not super common. Now, as for this house, going to the top of this house, it's possible to find a hider hiding as a furnace. So if you see like a furnace on the top of the stack, like right here, that would be fake. Also, like if you see like a square furnaces like that, would also be fake. And for the cauldron, if you have like 2 cauldrons in a row, then that would be fake. Now, as for the inside of this house, sometimes you'll actually find hiders in the inside of this house. Pretty much the way I think about the inside of the house is that we have 3 bookshelves, 3 TNTs. They have like the same exact structure, they're just mirrors of each other. So if you see like any block here, whether it's a cauldron, a bookshelf, a TNT, you'll sometimes see a hider hiding here. Just like that. Or if you have 2 TNTs on top of each other, if you have a bookshelf on top of this bookshelf, it's usually the most common spots either right here or right here. And that pretty much covers this house right here. Sometimes you'll find hiders over here, so I know about it. Alright, now going over to this cake stack, sometimes it's like you can go for games and games on Desert Village, and this stack will never be used. But sometimes it just gets used, and so I would know about the fact that there's three cakes over here. Sometimes you'll find like a cake right here. Sometimes you'll find a cake right here. Or you might have like a cake right here. It's usually either one of these 3 spots that I just mentioned. So right here, or right here. And that is pretty much it for the cakes. Going over here, yeah, there's this hole in the map. Like, you'd expect sometimes for a flower pot to be hiding here, but you don't actually see hiders in that spot that much, so don't worry about it. For these bookshelves, notice how there's like a total of 5 bookshelves. If I weren't to include that one, there would be 4. But sometimes you'll find like a bookshelf hiding here. So I would just know how many bookshelves there are here. It's like 5 bookshelves, right? I would just know that. And that pretty much covers a majority of the right side of the map. We have covered a lot of the right side of the map, which the right side of the map of Desert Village is really important because, well, hiders spawn on the right side of the map. And in many games, majority of the hiders are hiding on the right side of the map, and that's a very important thing to know about. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the leaper route that I like to use when going from hunter spawn to hider spawn. As silly as it might sound, I'm going to say it's actually a little, just a little noteworthy to kind of take note of. Pretty much as I'm a leaper hunter, some hunters like to just go that way because they get the most speed when they leap just straight forward, and I respect that. But what I like to do is I like to actually just leap up here to check if there's any hiders. And then I just go down, and I have to jump over this river right here. Now to do that, you actually have to do a double jump, and I don't think I made it. No, I didn't make it. You have to do a double jump in order to make that jump. So pretty much a double jump would be jumping like that. And just like that, that's pretty much how you do it. You just gotta take a double jump to get to this side. And that will get you to this pyramid, and you can start looking for hiders, right? First spot to check, of course, would be in here. And there would be an AFK hider, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. So now that we've talked about the leaper route that I like to use when going from hunter spawn to hider spawn, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about the different hiding spots you can see going from hunter spawn to hider spawn. So everything pretty much along this route right here. Now, as for hiders hiding in these like flower pot stacks or this bookshelf stack, you'll see it from hunter spawn, so you don't have to worry about that much. You can just go there and get them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the top of this house right here. Now, as for the inside of the house, it's not super common to find things here. You could go past here with radar and get any fake hiders. As for here, it's actually not super common to find hiders on this layer of the house. And as for the inside right here, it's not super common to find anything. But as for the very top of this house, it's the most common spot to actually see, actually not an anvil. The most common spot to actually see is a flower pot hiding in this spot right here. Not an anvil, but a flower pot. So you'll sometimes see that. And sometimes it'll be an anvil, but usually it's a flower pot. And so that's an important thing to know about. Sometimes you'll also have a flower pot hiding on this furnace right here. So if you see that, that would also be fake, but usually it's right here that you have to know about. And that's pretty much it for this house. Now, as you're exiting Hunter Spawn, what you'll sometimes see is like hiders going up that staircase, so you'll like see them at the center of the map, maybe even at the top. But what I like to do is I like to head towards hider spawn because that's where much more of the hiders are going to be more likely, and most likely get more kills and more hiders will be found there. So that's an important thing to know about as well. So maybe you could go here later, right? Now, as we're heading towards hider spawn, we have these cauldrons right here. I would say the most important spot for this cauldrons, if you ever do see a cauldron hiding here, would be a cauldron right here. So if you see a cauldron right here, it would be fake. Also, you might see a cauldron hiding behind the stack right here, so that would also be fake. That's pretty much it for the cauldrons. As for the cake right here, it's not super common, but if you have a cake hiding right here on the other side of the bridge, notice how it kind of makes it symmetrical, that would also be fake. Alright, also we have this pig pen right here. There's a total of 3 pigs here. That's all you gotta know. And it turns out that these pigs don't really roam around a lot. Unless I'm wrong, because the truth is, as I'm exiting Hunter Spawn, it's like at the very beginning of the game, so I can usually see that there's just 3 pigs here. It's very, very easy, actually. It's 3 pigs. And yeah, sometimes you'll see 4 pigs here. If you see 4, then one of them's fake. Of course, this flower pot's real, don't worry about it. And notice how we have these bookshelves right here. And notice again, it's the letter Y. This is the 3rd time we're bringing up the letter Y. So the letter Y is a pretty important structure to know about in Desert Village. So we saw the letter Y here, we saw the letter Y with those bookshelves over there, and we also saw the letter Y for those cakes on the top of that house right there. So this is the 3rd time we're bringing it up. Sometimes what you'll see is like the letter Y right here, or you see like a bookshelf right here, or a square of bookshelves, of course, then one of those gotta be fake. Pretty easy. And just like for those bookshelves over there, we also have a flower pot on the top of those bookshelves. It just isn't in the same position, right? It's not in the same position as for those bookshelves. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the bookshelves. And yeah, that's pretty much covers the entire route going to hider spawn of the different hiding spots you might see. That's pretty much it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over the side of Hunter Spawn, specifically the right side. I don't think we'll worry about the left side. Do we want to worry about the left side? Yeah, let's talk about it. Two cakes right here. Sometimes you'll find like the cake right here, or if you see like 3 cakes in a row. But all you gotta know is that there's 2 cakes here. Usually you're gonna catch this with radar, because usually as a leaper hunter, I don't leap to check hiding spots like this. Usually it's the radar hunter. And I don't really worry about these bookshelves that much. You don't have to worry about it that much. Right, so now what we're going to go over is the back of Hunter Spawn, which usually you'll get this stuff with radar, but we're just going to go over it now anyway, just because it's, why not know about it. As for these TNTs, there's a total of 5 TNTs. Common spot is to have a TNT hiding right here in the exact center of all of these TNTs. You might also have a TNT on the very top of it, like right here. That would also be fake. And that's pretty much it for the TNTs. Okay, going over here. Yeah, we'll go over here. Anvil's not super important. As for this stuff right here, notice how it forms a fish. It's just a fish. That's all that these melons and hay bales are. It's just a fish with a block on top of it. I would say the most common thing to know about is a melon hiding right here. So notice how it forms like a bow tie, so you see that would be fake. Or if you see a melon against the wall like this, it could also be a flower pot. That would be fake. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the stack right here. There's a total of 4 flower pots here, and that's another thing to know about. You don't really have to worry about these stacks that much. But as for these cauldrons right here, so yeah, sometimes you'll see like flower pots hiding in these cauldrons, and another spot that's pretty important is a cauldron hiding right here behind these cauldrons. So if you see a cauldron right here, it'd be fake. Yeah, that's pretty much it for those cauldrons, and yeah, that pretty much covers the back of Desert Village. This is like the back of Desert Village. It's the back of Hunter Spawn anyway. So next what we're going to do is, we've gone over the back, we're now going to go over the side, like the right side of the Hunter Spawn, which is this side right here. As for being against Hunter Spawn, you'll sometimes see a flower pot inside of this cobweb. There's a total of 2 flower pots here, so you can see a third flower pot like right here, right here, right here. Sometimes it'll have a flower pot inside this cauldron, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, for these melons, there's a total of 8 melons, but you don't really have to know about these melons. It's not super common to find anyone in these melons anyway, so you don't really have to worry about it. As for these pigs, there's a total of 3 pigs. So if you see 4 pigs, it's fake. Now, there's a very interesting thing about these animal pens that's going on here. 4 of these animal pens that I have mentioned have a total of 3 animals in them. So as for this one, there's 3 pigs. We also have these chickens over here, which have a total of 3 chickens. We also have these sheep over here, which have a total of 3 sheep. And over there is the other pig pen that we went over, right? 3 pigs. So 4 animal pens that we've gone over so far. So there are 4 that we've gone over that have 3 pigs, or just 3 animals in them. That's an important thing to know about. The only animal pen that does not count for that we've gone over so far is this chicken pen, which has a total of 5 chickens, right? So, that's pretty much it for that. Let's see, what should we go over now? Let's go over the center of the map, which is this dome right here. As for the dome, usually they're going to be on the top of the dome. The most common thing to see, which you guys are probably familiar with, is a hider hiding on top of the dome. Usually it's like the very top, right? But not just the very top, it's also, sometimes you'll see them on like the edge of the dome, like right here. And so what I like to do is, I like to go in the third person view to see if there's any hiders here, just in case I feel like there's a hider on the edge of it. And yeah, you'll sometimes see that. It's important to know to check the top of the dome. Now, as for the inside, it's way, way more common to find hiders on the top of the dome than it is to find them inside the dome itself. Sometimes you'll see it. So for example, if you have like a hider hiding right here, like a flower pot, or of course a furnace right here, it'd be fake. Usually nothing else really. You don't have to worry about the melons or the bookshelves that much if you don't want to. It's not that important. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the dome. But as for the bottom of the dome, you also have these leaves right here. Sometimes you'll find flower pots on top of these leaves as well. And sometimes that happens, so it's another thing to know about. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go and head towards the far back of the map. We've gone over this stuff over here. But what we're going to do now is we're going to head towards the far back of the map, starting with these piles over here. Alright, starting with these anvils and flower pots, which really it's not that important, so we're not even going to talk about them. We have these furnaces right here, which again, they form the letter Y. This is the 4th time that we've talked about the letter Y. Alright, so they form the letter Y, so of course if you see like a square of furnaces, if you see like a furnace here, or a furnace here, or a long letter Y like that, then it'd be fake. It's just the letter Y with the furnaces, and that's all you're really going to know. That's pretty much it. As for these melons right here, it's not super common to find a melon here, but if you do, all you got to really know is that there's a total of 6 melons here, so total of 6, as you can see. It's not super common to find a hider in this melon stack, so you don't have to worry about it. As for these melons, you'll sometimes find a hider in these melons, but usually that spot that you'll see is a melon hiding right here. And so if you see a melon right there, it'd be fake. And that's pretty much it for the melons. Going over here, we have this stack right here. As for this stack, we pretty much notice how there is a square of hay bales. That is a square. Okay, so sometimes you just gotta know that. A common spot in the stack is if you have 3 melons in a row right here. So if you see a hider right there, it'd be fake. And also if you see like the stack squared off right here, it would also be fake. So if you see that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this stack right here. Pretty much that's it. Yeah. Going over here, we're heading towards the dinosaur now. We have some flower pots here. All you gotta know is that this is 3 flower pots. You'd also find hiders hiding behind the cactus, right? They can become solid right here, so if you see that, fake. Alright, now as for the inside of the dinosaur, pretty much just, this is like the dinosaur, right? It's like a dinosaur bone. I don't even know if it's a dinosaur, but we're we'll assume it's a dinosaur. It's like some sort of bone, and it's pretty cool for a desert village. And yeah, you could find them hiding underneath the dinosaur. You could see them hiding in China. That's an inside joke for me and my friends. So if you see a hide right there, it's fake. Okay, anyways, pretty much just anywhere in like underneath the dinosaur, like just hiding right here. Usually you could see them like with F3B, but yeah, you just gotta know that you'll sometimes see hiders within this dinosaur area. Alright, as for these anvils, pretty much notice how the anvils, the bottom layer of the anvils forms a fish. And then we also have 2 anvils on the top of it. That's all you really gotta know for the anvils. So if we have 3 anvils in a row like this would be a fake anvil. See that? Also, you have like an anvil right here, but no. The most common spot to find an anvil is actually an anvil right here. Definitely really common to know that, and I would definitely know about it. And of course, I would just know that there's 2 anvils on the top of the stack. Another thing, we have these cakes right here. There's just a total of 2 cakes, so I mean, you'll pass by that. And also with these furnaces, there's just 3 furnaces, so I mean, that's also pretty easy. So now that we have gone over this stuff over here, I believe that it is about time we go over hiding spots that you might see on the left side of the map. Now, the left side of the map is not going to be gone in as much depth as we did for the right side of the map, because it's not super common to find hiders hiding on the left side of the map as it is the right side of the map. It's way more common to find them on the right side of the map. What we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the left side of the map, not in a lot of depth though. We're going to talk about it in as much depth as possible, of course, but it's definitely not going to be in as much depth as the right side of the map. So, most common thing on the left side of the map is to have flower pots on top of buildings, and of course sometimes in block piles. Another spot to know about is that they might be hiding in these trees right here, so they can get on those trees. And another thing is they can be hiding on the edge of the map, either as furnaces or flower pots, or just anything. Also, like in these sort of spots right here. So notice how they could be hiding around this thing, hiding around this one, like right here, or right here. You'll sometimes see that. So if you see something like that, that's another thing to know about. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over the different hiding spots you might see on the left side of the map. And we're going to start off, pretty much, we're going to go over block piles, but not in really that much depth. We're going to talk about, first, going along the outside of the map. So we've already talked about the, like, behind Hunter Spawn. We've talked about this stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to head towards the outside of the map and go over block piles like that. For these anvils, all you gotta really know is that, for example, if you see like 4 anvils in a row like this, then they'd be fake. That's pretty much all I would know for the anvils. Radar will help you out with the rest. As for these TNTs, if you see like a fish structure, that's pretty much it. Let's see, what else do I want to go over? These furnaces right here. If you see a furnace right here, this is a pretty common spot sometimes for radar hunter, and that would be fake. Okay. Let's see. TNTs aren't really that important. I guess if you see like, oh wait, it should be a TNT, right? If you see 4 TNTs on the top, then sometimes you'll see that. You see like 3 TNTs in a row as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Furnaces we're not going to go over, so don't have to worry about it. We're not going to go over these furnaces or bookshelves, not important. As for this structure right here, the most common thing to actually see is a flower pot hiding behind it. And that's all I really got to know about, to be honest. Okay, we're continuing along the outside of the map, right? Furnace structure, not important. Sometimes you'll find hiders behind these trees right here, but again, on the top of the trees as well, right? As for this TNT stack, you sometimes find hiders in here, in fact. And notice how it's pretty much, we actually have a square structure with a TNT. Now, an important thing to know about is if you have like a TNT like right here behind the stack, so catch that with radar. If you have a TNT to the side of the stack, like right here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the TNT stack. Just the thing I would notice is that there's an actual square right here for the TNT. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Continuing to go along the edge of the map, notice how we do have these anvils right here, so I'd also keep that in mind as you're passing by with radar. We're not going to go over this stuff, it's not that important. Anvils, not really that important. You can kind of take a quick glimpse at them though, because they're like really small block piles, and they're not really that large, as you can see. But they're really not that important to looking for hiders. Like this furnace stack, it's not really that important. I mean, you might see like a furnace right here, but no, they're not gonna obsess that much over it. As for this hay bale stack, you actually sometimes will find a hay bale hiding right here. Or a hay bale right here, like behind the stack like that. And that's pretty much it for the hay bale stack. Alright, continuing to go along the edge of the map, we also have these furnaces right here. So if you see like a furnace inside, like right here, that's another thing to know about. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for these furnaces. We've already gone over these furnaces and this anvil stack. We also have this hay bale stack right here, which looks really similar to that hay bale stack right there. Right, it's really similar in fact. And pretty much if there's a hay bale right here, it forms a fish structure. So if we see something like that, that would be fake. Also, if you see 3 hay bales in a row like this, it would be fake. Or like a hay bale that squares the stack off like that would also be fake. So we've gone over this hay bale stack. Next, we're gonna go over to this cauldron stack. The only real important thing about this cauldron stack, I would say, is notice how there's 2 cauldrons in a row on this side. Well, on this side, there shouldn't be 2 cauldrons in a row, but if you have like 2 cauldrons in a row like this, then that would be a fake cauldron. I guess also if you have like 3 cauldrons in a row, then it'd be fake like this. Or if you have like a cauldron right here, then it'd be fake. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the cauldrons. You'll catch it with radar, so you should be good. As for these melons right here, if you have like a melon inside, like right here, then that would be fake melon. So if you see something like that, that'd be fake. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this corner of the map. Next, we're gonna go over this stuff right here. So starting with this house right here. Alright, starting with the top of the house, we have 3 block piles. These hay bales, also it's really similar to that hay bale stack right there. In fact, it's identical to that hay bale stack. It's identical. So if you have a hay bale right here, that would be fake. That's pretty much it. If you have a hay bale right there, it's usually the most common thing. As for the TNTs, if you have like a TNT right here, TNT right here, pretty much it's pretty easy to catch a fake TNT here. That's pretty much it for the TNT stack. I mean, yeah. I don't really know what to go over for it, because it's just radar will help you out, and yeah. As for this melon stack, if you have like a melon right here, notice if there's a melon right here, it'd be fake. Also, notice how there's only 2 melons in the top of it, but if you have like 3 melons in the top, like right here, or right here, then it'd be fake. That's pretty much it for that melon stack. Going down here, we have 2 cakes and a flower pot. As for the flower pot, if you have like another flower pot right here, then that would be a fake flower pot. Also for the cakes, there should only be a total of 2 cakes. So sometimes you have like 3 cakes like this, then it'd be fake. Maybe a cake next to it, sometimes. That would also be fake. Another one, if you have like 3 cakes like that, then it'd be fake. Pretty much you just gotta know that there's 2 cakes there as you're passing by with the radar. Going to the inside of the house. Sometimes you'll find hiders in the inside of this house. For example, like a flower pot on top of this bookshelf right here. Or a bookshelf within anywhere, like in the inside part of this area right here. As for this TNT and anvil, usually you'll sometimes see is like an anvil or a TNT hiding in this spot right here. So if you see something like that, sometimes see that. Also, you might have like a bookshelf right here, in addition to also a possible of a flower pot being there. That's pretty much it for the inside of this house. Right, that's pretty much it for the inside of it. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Right? It's looking pretty good. What we're going to do is we're going to go over this stuff now. As for the bookshelves, if you have 2 bookshelves on the very inside of this, then one of those bookshelves has to be fake. Also, if you have 2 bookshelves in a row on the left side of it, then that has to be fake. Also, if you have like 4 bookshelves in the front of it like this, then that would also be fake. That's pretty much it for the bookshelves. As for the furnaces, there are actually 2 furnaces on the inside of it. So there actually are 2 furnaces here, unlike the bookshelves, but there's only 1. There actually are 2 furnaces there. Notice how we also have bookshelves to the left of the furnace stack. Interestingly enough, turns out if you have 3 bookshelves in a row, then one of those bookshelves is actually going to be fake. And that's what it is for that case. We also do happen to have a cake there, so sometimes you'll have like another cake on the inside, like you have another cake on the inside of it. As for the furnaces, you'll sometimes have furnaces that connect them together, like 3 furnaces in a row like this. Or if you have like a furnace in the front of it like that, sometimes you'll see that. That's pretty much it. As for the top of this house, we have a total of two melons, so I think that's important to know about. Also, we have these anvils, like these anvils aren't facing the same direction, but either an anvil in this spot or this spot. That's pretty much it for the anvils. And again, yeah, 2 melons, as we can see. Okay, going to the inside of this house, notice how we have these TNTs and bookshelves. If you have a square of TNTs, like right this, or a rectangle of bookshelves, and that would be fake. You could also have a TNT in this spot right here. See that? Would be fake. Also right here with these flower pots and cakes. If you have 3 flower pots and cakes, then one of those has to be fake, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This house, the inside of this house really isn't that important. This stuff is not really that important. Yeah, let's not really worry about it. Anvil's not really that important. The inside of this house, not really that important. The top of this house, I'm pretty sure, is actually melons. Should be like a melon, like some melons on the top of it. How do you even get to the top of it, right? Go right here. So as for these melons, yeah, there's like a spot where a melon can go, like right here in between these 3 melons. So if you see something like that, it would be a fake melon. That's pretty much it. We can go over this in time. You have like 3 melons, or 3 bookshelves in a row. If you have a total of 3 cakes or flower pots here, so you see something like that, it'd be fake. You don't really have to worry about these hay bales that much, because honestly, I believe that these hay bales aren't really that important. They could be, but I don't think they are. Nah, you don't have to worry about the stuff up here. The stuff on this side you really don't have to worry about. When we go up here, you should know that there's a total of 3 flower pots, just as you're coming up here. Because like sometimes what you'll literally have is like flower pots launching their bows at hunters trying to get them, right? But you might miss something like right here. And just why not, like as you're a leaper hunter, like sometimes you are a leaper hunter. And usually as you're a leaper hunter, your main priority is to search the right side of the map. But you should go to the left side of the map if you have like lots of time left, or if it turns out you're in one of those games where majority of the hiders on the left side of the map instead. Like if you have a flower pot launching their bow at you, sometimes you'll leap up here to just go kill that hider, but you might forget that there's like another flower pot up here. So I just kind of know that there's 3 flower pots here. Just kind of know it. Furnace is not really that important though, so that's pretty much it for the top of this house. And yeah, we have made it to here now with the TNTs. If you see like a TNT in between 3 TNTs like this, that would be a fake TNT. Also, we have a total of 2 bookshelves, so you have 3 bookshelves in a row like this, be fake. Or a bookshelf like right here, that would also be fake. That's pretty much it. And we're back to where we were over here. I already talked about how this stuff isn't really that important. Next what we're going to do is we're going to go over pretty much like these houses right here. And we're going to make it to here. So yeah, we're going to go over a few of these houses. Starting with this house. You have some hay bales right here. There's a total of 3 hay bales right here. Sometimes you'll see some more hay bales over here. Again, hit any animals as you're passing by them. But as for the top of this house, we didn't even go over the inside of this house, I just realized, so. Yeah, just sometimes, I guess it'd actually be a hay bale right here. I've sometimes seen hay bales hiding here before, so that's just why. Sometimes you'll find a hay bale right there, and this stuff isn't really that important. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Going back to this house, going to the top of it. There's not really much on this house, right? No, just anvils, and usually it's like gonna be like a flower pot in this house actually, so don't have to worry about it that much. Alright, as for hiding spots here, no, not really that important. Next we go to, let's go to this house next. The top of it, no, not really that important. Going inside of this house, I don't think is that important. No, it's not that important. Okay, not really that important. we have this house right here. We already did this house. We did this house, and that's it. We go to this house. A lot of houses on the left side of the map. You don't really have to worry about them that much, okay? It's not like you're just gonna randomly find hiders on the insides of these houses every game, right? It just doesn't happen, right? Main priority is radaring this and just kind of being familiar with what hiding spots you can see as you're passing by with radar. Not many hiders. I don't think I've ever really seen any hiders hiding here before. It's most likely going to be a flower pot launching their bow at hunters, or just a flower pot on the house. You never know. Cauldrons aren't really that important. Flower pot there, I guess, but not really that important to be honest at all. Inside of this house, no, it's not that important. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Lastly, we got this house right here. It's not really that important. This stuff really is not that important. However, we have these bookshelves right here. As you're radaring by, if you see like 4 bookshelves in a row right here, or 4 bookshelves in a row, I've still seen this a little bit. So if you see something like that, it'd be fake. And we've gone over to this house. We have some furnaces on the outside of it, but I don't really care that much about it. If you see like 4 furnaces, I guess, if you want to know that. That's pretty much it. Okay, we've made it to these cauldrons, not even that important. Bookshelves, not even that important. Yeah. Much of the stuff over here is really not that important at all. Now we make it to this central area right here. Not really a central area, but it's kind of close to the center. It's like an outside area that's not near any houses, so it's kind of like an open area. Anvils aren't that important. As for these cakes right here and bookshelf, sometimes what you'll have is like a cake right here or a cake right here. So it's like 3 cakes surrounding the bookshelf. You see that? It'd be fake. As for these bookshelves, I don't really see bookshelves hiding here anymore. It doesn't really happen, so I don't really pay attention to it that much. As for these hay bales, many of the hay bale stacks in this map are really similar to each other, if you haven't noticed already. If you have a fish structure like this would be a fake hay bale. So you see something like that. Also, if you see 3 hay bales in a row like this. Right, and that's pretty much it for the hay bale stack. For these pumpkins, this is our first time mentioning pumpkins in Desert Village. That's weird. But pretty much, I would know about if you have like these pumpkins right here. If you have like a pumpkin right here, 2 pumpkins in a row. Well, if you have another 2 pumpkins in a row, like a pumpkin right here, that would also be fake. Of course, that pumpkin could also be right here. Another thing to know about is if you have like a pumpkin on the inside, like in either one of these 2 spots right here. Sometimes I've seen that as you're passing by with radar. And that's pretty much it for the pumpkin stack. And yeah, that pretty much covers this central area right here. So next what we're going to do is we're going to go inside of this house, but before we do that, notice how we have some blocks surrounding the house. This is a real furnace, a real TNT. Sometimes you'll see like another TNT there, like if you have like 2 TNTs like this. So you can see that. In the back of it we have these cauldrons right here. So if you see like a 3 cauldron, like a cauldron against the house, or a cauldron touching these 2 cauldrons, then that would be fake. We also have a cake right there, so that's a real cake. And yeah, back to this furnace. Most common to find hiders on top of the house. So, but first we'll go to the inside of the house. As you're passing by the radar, sometimes you have like yeah, this is real different than before, because hiders used to actually spawn over on that side of the map, but I'm pretty confident that bookshelves actually have the ability to hide on either one of these sides, but that's just another time. For these anvils, you might still see an anvil hide right here, so as you're passing by the radar, you'll sometimes see that. And this spot really isn't that important anymore. Going to the top of this, I would just know that there's like a flower pot and a melon on either side. And this stuff, pretty much I just kind of know that there's 3 with 1 flower pot, but it's not that important, so radar will help you out. These melons are all at diagonals to each other, so if you see like a melon touching another melon like in either one of these spots, then it'd be fake. Also, if you have like a melon right here, that would also be fake. But usually what you'll see if you ever see anything here, it's gonna be a melon touching another melon like that. As for the hay bales, you have it's sort of like the Y structure. It's sort of like the letter Y, except you just have an extra hay bale on top. If you have like a hay bale right here or a hay bale right here, that's pretty much it. As for over here, we actually have 3 flower pots here, and we have these bookshelves, which aren't that important. The top of this house, we have 2 flower pots on the top, one there and one there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing else really that important. You usually don't see anyone hiding here, but sometimes you have flower pots launching their bows at hunters. And I would say you sometimes see hiders hiding in this melon stack or this hay bale stack most of the time, to be honest. And that's pretty much it for this house right here. And yeah, going to the back of this house, we've talked about this, but we also have this stack right here. We'll sometimes see as a hider hiding right here, or a bookshelf hiding right here. Sometimes you'll see that, so it's important to know that. Going over to this house, this tiny house, we have a cauldron, an anvil on the outside of it. That's a real anvil. And on the, actually no, we'll go to the top first. Pretty much just 3 bookshelves and a cake. 3 bookshelves and a cake. On the inside of it, we have some cakes right here. We have 4 cakes in a row. So if you pass by the radar and see 4 cakes in a row, that'd be fake. That's pretty much it. Yeah. As for these hay bales, sometimes you'll find like a hay bale hiding here, even though they don't face the same direction as these hay bales. So anywhere in this hay bale stack, if you find a hider, it'd be fake. And yeah, hider spawn used to be over here, so that's an interesting thing. They used to be here. That's why I kind of know about these spots. But if you ever pass by the radar and see those spots, again, you'll just have to know. You could just know that those are fake. Radar is mainly what you're relying on for the left side of the map. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Next we have this house. I don't even think it's that important. Let's see. Ah yes, 2 flower pots. Sometimes you'll find 3 flower pots. That'd be fake. Anvils aren't that important. For these melons, there's a total of 5 melons. So if you see like a melon right here, then that would be fake. Or a melon that's sort of right here, and that would also be fake. That's pretty much it for the melons. As for the inside of the house, I don't even think it's that important anymore. Yeah. Oh, yes, I remember sometimes seeing bookshelves right here. And also, bookshelf right here. But radar will help you out, to be honest. It's not really that common anymore. And yeah, you have some sheep here. You'll sometimes still see sheep hiding here. And you have these bookshelves. There's a total of 2 bookshelves here. For these hay bales, you sometimes see the hay bale right here. So notice how it looks like this. Or if you have 4 hay bales in a row, it's too many hay bales in a row, so that's how you know it's fake. And if you have like 3 hay bales in a row like this on this side, so you see something like that, it'd be fake. For the TNTs, you can sometimes see 4 TNTs in a row, so you see that's fake. Also, the TNT pile gets squared off if there's a TNT, like right here. If you see that, it'd be fake TNT. That's pretty much it for the TNT pile. Yeah. Alright. And now we reach back over to here, which is, we've gone over this stuff. So a while ago we went over it. We have some houses over here though. Can we quickly go over this to the end? Yes, we can. Like a hay bale in this spot right here. Other stuff isn't really that important. Up here, this stuff isn't really that important. You see like a hider right there though sometimes. It's relatively new, to be honest. You see a hider right here, usually it's a flower pot though. It's usually a flower pot up here. Last thing. Pretty sure it's the last thing. Sometimes it'll have like a cake in this spot, cake here, or a note block. So a note block right here. So 5 note blocks like that would make this note block fake. And as for the top of this stack, top of this house, sometimes you'll see 3 TNTs in a row. And that pretty much concludes everything that I would like to go over for Desert Village. We've pretty much gone over everywhere. And yeah, we've pretty much seen everything that there is to Desert Village. Right, the most important stuff is the right side of the map. Right, everything that I went over for the left side of the map is probably the most new stuff to most of you. But the left side of the map is mainly with radar. And those spots that I went over for the left side of the map is mainly just kind of some spots to kind of keep aware of just as you're going along the left side of the map. And that's pretty much it for hunting on Desert Village.